Hey everybody, this is Crystal. Welcome back to More Natural Everyday. And today is going to be the Patio Garden Diaries entry 3 or episode 3. So I just wanted to show you guys how the garden is doing. It is growing quite well. And today I want to show you what's going on, some changes we've made and are about to make. And then we're also going to prune some plants as well as harvest a couple of zucchini. So just to give you a little recap, this is the Golden Jubilee and the Husky Red Cherry tomatoes. They're doing just fine. See if I can get in here and show you. You've got a couple. That's a couple of the Golden Jubilees, and then we've got several clusters. See if I can find a couple of the cherry tomatoes starting to grow. We've got the green beans that we started from seed in here. And we also had, I don't know if you can see this leaf that's been very much eaten. But we also had in here we go, some greens because they can actually cohabitate. But we have had a very large cabbage worm issues every year that I've tried to do greens or cabbage here. And honestly, it's just a pain in the butt to try to manage. So this year I didn't. And so we are actually going to be pulling up the whole bed of greens that we had going on today. So, which is this guy over here. Two reasons. One, I overseeded. It should have just been like one seed or at the most 3 seedlings of each of the green, the collard, and the kale. Then down to just maybe 1 or 2 of each plant in this bin. And also, if you can see, there's just a lot of leaf damage from the cabbage worms. So we actually decided that the better use of this soil and this space would be to put the last couple Rutgers tomatoes that we had left over, those seeding starter plants. We're going to put those in here today. So we also moving over, this is the zucchini plant. It's huge. The leaves on this guy grow really large. We are going to prune some of those leaves today, some of these damaged ones. And then we have a couple of zucchini that shot up and grew overnight, which they have a tendency to do. There's that big guy. And we're going to get those. The peppers are growing slowly but surely. Here you can see we do have a nice size little fruit for the red pepper, and then some of these jalapenos will actually be ready to harvest probably this weekend or next week. So that's cool. Zucchini and jalapenos are typically what we do get first. Then we've got this massive, let me step back to show you, the cucumber is doing quite well. We've had to kind of train it up its trellis a few different times. So you see there's a little bit down at the bottom that we still need to get, and there's actually a vine going along the back of the fence. See that there? Behind the peppers. And we're just kind of letting it do its thing. We have a few little fruit on here, but we are going to prune this guy today, and hopefully that'll speed up production. Then, let's see. We do have our salad, our greens, and our spring mix is doing really well. I'm not going to harvest that today, but I will pull that next week. It's Friday, and so I am going to get that next week when I'm ready to eat it. So here we have growing quite well our corn. Jeremiah and I's decision to put 6 in here seems to be doing okay so far. So good. We don't have any silks yet, and I think it was 75 to 85 or something like that days for before the fruit's supposed to be ready to produce, or the corn, or ready to harvest. So we should be seeing that still later in the summer. Over here we have 2 Rutgers bushes, and they've got tomatoes on both. As well as these are the little ones that we never implanted that have just continued to grow, and they're a little slanted because they didn't have any space, but they are also producing tomatoes, and we love tomatoes. The neighbors love tomatoes. So we are going to take these last 3 and put them in that large pot where the greens were, And then very happy to say that the watermelon is actually growing. We have, like I said, see it's starting to vine up the fence and on this little trellis that we have here. The wind is blowing, which does remind me that we need to tie it. So we will tie that today. We're gonna just secure the two ends with string to the fence, just so if we have thunderstorms or anything, it doesn't blow the trellis over. Last year it did do that. We didn't have any damage to the plant, but this year there's other things that could hurt because we have so much out here this year. So we're gonna do that today. But it's growing well. We've got some flowers. We saw the bees out a little while ago pollinating. So, oh, yay. There's a little guy. You see the little guy right there? There he is. So we do have at least one little guy. There probably are a couple others. I try not to be a helicopter mom with the plants. There's another one. You can see right there. There we go. So we kind of let them do what they do and just keep an eye on them. So yeah, we do have a couple little fruit on that. So we are going to get started. Right now we're going to pull up the greens, transplant the tomatoes. You've seen us put the tomatoes in before in the last video. If you didn't already, definitely go check that out. So when you come back, this is going to be completely different. And then we'll come back and show you how we're going to prune the zucchini, harvest some zucchini and prune the cucumbers. All right, guys, so I wanted to come and take a look at the cucumber. So I looked at a video this morning, actually, because I knew we were coming out here. And usually I just prune off the damaged leaves. As you can see, there are a few here, just to kind of divert resources and make sure that they're not still trying to keep those leaves alive. But I saw in this video, it was talking about how each node, and I'll try to see if I can find one and not get stung by a feeding bee. See, they're out right now. All right. So it's saying that each node, which this would be considered a node, there would be a tendril, a leaf, a fruit, so see the little cucumber, and then a growth point. And on this one I can't prune it because it's this little thing right, I don't even know if you can see it, like right behind the tendril. Try to find a better one. This guy over here. So here's your node section, and there's a tendril, the fruit, which is blurry, there it is, the fruit, the leaf. So this guy back here is actually a growth point. Now, it looks like another little tiny little mini cucumber, but it doesn't have a full flower on it. So this is actually what I believe I'm supposed to take off. And it just snaps right off like so. And it was saying to pull those off on all of your nodes so that again, the plant's resources are only going to the fruit that's growing at each node. So I'm just going to go through and see if I can find some clear growth points. I don't want to pluck anything that might be a cucumber, which is what I did earlier while I was trying to see if I knew what they were talking about. I think I actually pulled the cucumber and not the growth point. So I'm going to go through and do that on all of these nodes here. I just wanted to show you, I'm going to also do the leaves. So we have some dead leaves here. And for these, you want to cut as close to the plant as possible. So let me try to get this guy without damaging anything else. So I just have my shears and I'm going as close as I can get to the plant and just cut that off. And I'm going to go through and do that for all of the dead leaves, and like I said, try to pull off any of those growth points that we can find and readily identify as growth points, while not interfering with the bees and their feeding. They're pollinating. Alright, we'll be right back. Done with the cucumber. I'm gonna move on to the zucchini. So you might be able to see, take this glove off, we've got this big beautiful zucchini that sprouted out of nowhere. I just noticed it 2 days ago starting to grow, and then all of a sudden yesterday it was ready to harvest. So what you're gonna need is, I like to use just a small but sharp paring knife, something sharp enough to get to cut through the stem. You know the little hat, little thing that looks like a zucchini wears? that's what we're gonna cut off. And maybe you might want to try to get in here. I know it's hard. Can you see it? Here, actually, I'll take the camera. You hold the zucchini. I have the knife. Got it? You got him? Okay. So, see this base right here? I'm actually just going to cut that with this knife. Careful not to get anything else. And then there he is. See, this is the little hat I was talking about that you usually see in the grocery store. That's what you cut. And I believe we have one more that's not quite ready over there, so we're probably going to give him a couple more days to grow. But while I'm in here, I'll show you, we do have some dead leaves here. So, as well as a couple of actually dead, what used to be this, let's see if I can show you, some plants that, some zucchini that actually died. So I'm going to go in here and kind of clean up some of this grossness. Still using the paring knife. I just want to make sure there's no more to harvest. No, so we're going to get the dead ones out, cut these leaves. Again, we're going to cut down at the base for the damaged leaves, and that just helps to allow less shading so that the, you know, the actual living fruit can, and living leaves can have somewhere to go. And my husband being very silly right now. He's so proud of our first zucchini, our first vegetable out of the garden. All right, we're gonna do that, and then we'll be right back to show you everything we did today. All right, guys, so we are done pretty much for the day. Daniel is getting ready to water the plants, and I just remembered that we actually didn't show you something that we did on planting day, right after we finished. So if you see, the lids to the containers are right under them. So I got the idea, Daniel got the idea from the self-watering pots that we have, like the greens and stuff in. They have a little reservoir at the bottom that you can put the water into, and then the plants self-water themselves when they're thirsty. They just pull it up from there. So we, especially because it's been so hot this summer, Daniel's got the great idea to put the lids under so that we can put like a little reservoir of water underneath to self-water. And I'll show you, he's got one going on. I said it's biblical. It's biblical. So they can self-water themselves. So we usually water from the top and then fill the little reservoir. And that can help us from having to do a second watering in the evening. But just want to show you, so we did do a good bit of pruning on the zucchini. I see a dead blossom that I'm going to pull out right now. And you never want to prune more than 50% of your leaves, because then you will not have enough for photosynthesis. So we do have a couple on this side that I want to get, but there, if you can see that other zucchini that's growing right there, we're not going to harvest that until at least after the weekend, so we don't want to mess with the leaves over there. And there was a lot of active production and active stink bugs, not going to lie, over there, so didn't really want to get into that. We've got the tomatoes, and we put 3 in here. We had 2 like of those tomato cone things, so we did 2 of those, and the one in the middle we're just going to kind of let him grow with the assist. And then there's one more. There were 4 in there. I thought there were 3. We're going to put into one of the little pots and see how that does. Again, we did all right on the cucumber. And I think that is it for the update. So yeah, as things grow, we will continue to show you, and then you'll finally see why there's tied up pantyhoses on that watermelon trellis. But if you want to know, then you're going to have to stay tuned for episode 4. All right, guys, we will see you next time.